There's a cross member directly in front of it. So as soon as we take it off, it's gonna spill all over the... There's really no way to avoid that. So that's how we know we're good to go. That was like surprisingly easy. Boom, I can do the whole oil change, super simple. I can control exactly where the oil goes, and next time I won't spill a drop. Hats off to Ronin, super, super cool idea. What's up guys, welcome back to AutoHeads. Thanks for checking out today's video. Changing your own oil can save you a bunch of money and also ensures that you're not getting bamboozled. Yeah, I'm almost done. Oil filter's all set, boss. Today I'm gonna go step by step and show you guys exactly how to change the oil on this 2021 F150 2.7 liter EcoBoost. Exact same process for 2015 to 2021 F150s. I'm also gonna show you guys, as you can see in the thumbnail, a really awesome modification or upgrade, whatever you want to call it, that if you plan on doing your own oil changes for the life of your vehicle, this right here is going to save you a bunch of time, a bunch of headaches, and make the whole process really clean and enjoyable. Ronin is a US company and they've donated over $3 million to veterans throughout the United States. So not only is this a super high quality product that's made in the United States, but it's gonna make you feel good that some of the proceeds go to veterans and people that take care of us. All right, so first I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you need. I'll put links to everything that you see in the video description, and we'll get right into the oil change and the installation of the Ronin plug. If you guys want to skip, you can just scroll your finger to the bottom. I put chapters everywhere. If you guys don't want to put the Ronin in and you just want to skip to certain parts, feel free, it's right below, just scroll around. Let's get started. So very important, make sure you have a high quality 5W30 oil. Ford recommends using their Motorcraft 5W30. I'm going with the Mobil 1 full synthetic. So we don't have the Ronin in yet, so we're definitely going to need some rags and some paper towels, whatever you got laying around the house. If you get some rags, definitely make sure you bring those underneath the vehicle with you. Also going to need a socket wrench, a 1 1/16 socket to remove the oil filter housing, and an 8mm to remove the shroud underneath the vehicle. I do recommend going with Motorcraft for the oil filter. This is the FL2062-A. I'll get more into the different versions of this, but I'll put a link in the description for this so you know exactly which one to get. There is a slight difference between the newer models and the older models. This new version right here, the Dash A, does not have a plastic cap on the top. If you've done your own oil change with older EcoBoosts, you will remember that there's like a kind of like a little plastic cap on the top and bottom. They got rid of that for whatever reason, but don't worry. I'll put a link in the description so you know exactly which one to get. The filter is also going to come with 3 O-rings. Now this oil pan, I believe I got at O'Reilly's. If I can find this on Amazon, I'll put a link in the description, but this thing is sick. I like this product so much, especially in conjunction with the Ronin plug, because it just makes the whole oil change process that much more enjoyable. I think people don't like doing oil changes because it gets messy. You end up ruining your clothes, you end up ruining your driveway. It's just a big mess, and again, a product like this kind of cleans everything up. You can drain all the oil into this. It has a little spot for your oil drain plug. It has a little spot for your filter. Once you dump all the oil out in this, you just button everything up, and you can just pick up this whole unit and dispose of the oil nice and easy. You can store it wherever you need without worrying about it leaking anywhere. It's just a really nice little oil pan, and I definitely recommend getting something like this. I also like to get a nice oversized wide mouth funnel, keeps it clean, and you can dump in pretty much all 5 quarts at once. And then we have our Ronin Factory oil plug kit. This thing is so nice. So before we actually put this in, I'm going to show you guys kind of the components and how this works. Ronin has a patent on this. It's a genius design. Basically, you just take the old plug out, put the new one in. There's a little notch that you're going to have to line up at the 7 o'clock position. You're going to do a half turn, and the plug will just pop right into place. Take the billet aluminum Ronin cap off and start screwing in this little release valve. As you start screwing this in, you're going to see that piston move away from the plug. That's going to allow the oil to flow through this whole unit. It flows right down through there, and then you can, if you want to go a step further, you can use the 3/8 tubing. I picked this up at, I believe, O'Reilly's. You can get this anywhere. You can find it online if you want, I'm sure. But just plug that in, and as you screw that cap in, it's going to allow the oil to go right through the tubing, and you can control exactly where the oil goes without spilling a drop. Such a good idea. Ronin has a patent out for this. I can't say enough about it, but you'll see how well this works later on in the video. So to do any oil change properly on a vehicle, you got to make sure that the oil is up to temperature. Otherwise, it's not going to flow out of the system properly. Drive the truck around for 10 minutes. That should be enough. Open up the truck, and you're going to see a hood latch. Pull the hood latch, and that's going to allow you to be able to open up the hood of the truck. Move to the front of the truck, and there'll be a little tiny piece of metal that you're just going to push sideways. Just drag your hand over. You'll feel it with your finger. Pull it to the left, and then you'll be able to push up the hood. That will give us access to what we need to work on. All right, there's only going to be 3 things we're going to be messing with in this F150 engine bay today. The first is the oil dipstick. That's how you check the oil level in the F150. Then it's going to be the engine oil fill cap. That shows exactly what kind of oil you should be using, and that's where we're going to be putting our brand new fresh oil. And then lastly is the actual engine oil filter itself. That's the 1 1/16 socket. That's how we're going to remove that. All right, before we can get access to the factory oil plug, we need to remove this shroud, this skid plate, whatever you want to call it. We got to get rid of it.
1, 2, 3, 4. This is the skid plate, if you want to call it that. It's really more like a felt plate, but this is going to give us access to the oil drain plug.
Just a quick couple little safety tips here. You can see that exhaust pipe directly in front of me. That is a hot exhaust pipe. If I was to touch that, I would burn the crap out of my hand. So just be aware of your surroundings when you're under a vehicle. Make sure the emergency brake is on and the tires are all blocked.
All right, so right here is our factory drain plug. It's plastic, it's crappy, and I don't know why Ford decided to put these on here. And as you can see here, this is a cross member directly in front of it. So as soon as we take it off, it's going to spill all over the place. There's really no way to avoid it other than to get that Ronin plug that we were talking about. So let's remove this and make sure we have a pan under here first.
If you end up getting this fancy oil pan that I have, make sure that you open up the fill cap and also make sure that that little purge valve is open. All right, to remove the factory drain plug, we're just going to do a half turn counterclockwise. Also make sure you're putting a little bit of forward pressure. You can see that I don't just pull it out. I let a little oil come through, and then at some point you just have to let it go.
See what I mean? There's really no way to avoid that. And that's what ends up happening. Also, make sure you put on gloves. All right, so as you can see, it's almost done dripping, but we're gonna, once we open up the filter, it's gonna be able to bring some more air into the whole system and allow the oil to completely drain out. So let's go up, get rid of that filter, replace it with a new one. All right, so now we're gonna open up the hood, grab our 1 1/16 socket here, and this right here, as previously shown, is gonna be the filter, nice and small. And I'm actually willing to bet that I could probably take this off without even using a ratchet. This shouldn't be like smoked on. It's just kind of sealed, it's seated on the filter here. So I should just be able to do it by hand. Yep. Get your rag. All right, so we have our housing here. This is our filter housing. There's 3 O-rings, 1, 2, 3. And the 3 O-rings come with the filter. Again, this is the FL2062A by Motorcraft. I definitely recommend going with Motorcraft for the filter. Now, what I forgot to do, which is killing me, I have a wicked nice pick set that I left at home. I forgot to bring it. I'll show you guys what that looks like and kind of demo it. But because I forgot to do that, I'm going to try using my little Trisvolto wedge here. Should work fine, but definitely on Amazon. I think it's like $4 or $5 for this pick set. It's awesome. I've used it a bunch of times. Definitely recommend using something like that.
Again, I was kicking myself for forgetting that pick. It makes it so much easier. You can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot, Amazon, very cheap, and it makes a huge difference for the install. All right, so we removed 3 O-rings. That means we need to replace 3 O-rings. This first one is a little bit of a beast. Again, just put a little bit of lubricant on it and it should pop right in. That's what she said. All right, then the other O-rings just fit at the bottom. Very self-explanatory. There's no messing this up. It's very clear where these two go. Always, guys, make sure you put a little bit of like residual oil around anything that has a gasket or an O-ring. Just make sure it has a little bit of lubrication. That way, you know, it ensures that it doesn't dry out when you replace it. Then we're going to take our oil filter and just make sure it clears that cylinder. It should click and pop right to the bottom.
All right, so we got everything reassembled. We have our 3 O-rings on. Now we're gonna put the filter back in. It should go in very easily. If you get any kind of resistance, you're probably not threading it right. So back out and then try to find the thread again. Again, this just needs to be seated in. This should not be smoked in at all. I'm just gonna basically use my hand to tighten it up. If you want to do like maybe like a quarter turn to a half turn at the most with the ratchet, you can do that. As long as you can get it hand tight, basically as tight as you can get it hand tight is how you want it. There we go. It's seated. I can no longer turn that filter. That's as hard as you want to put it in. It just seats nice and tight. That's good. Do not use your ratchet and smoke this too far. That could be catastrophic. All right, so I already kind of showed you guys how this goes in. So you're gonna try to get this little notch right here at the 7 o'clock position. Make sure that this little tension ring is in place. And you can feel it. Give it a little forward pressure. Spin. And you're gonna feel it pop. That was perfect. Like, there's no question that I got that in right. I could feel the tension and it literally popped, clicked into place. And then you can see the Ronin symbol should be facing straight up and down. So that's how we know we're good to go. That was like surprisingly easy. Very nice. And then right here, this is the factory drain plug right here. This is just embarrassing. I can't believe Ford put this in here. These are known to break and they're known to have issues. Basically, like they'll just almost like the plastic will expand and be very difficult to remove after some time. They swell up. So yeah, I mean, you'll see on Amazon they sell a lot of these because they go bad so often. So yeah, I'm glad to get rid of this. All right, so now that the Ronin plug is in, we're gonna fill up the truck with our 6 quarts of oil. All right, so we need to fill up our oil. This is our oil fill. And if you're ever questioning what kind of oil you need, usually 9 times out of 10, most vehicles have it exactly what you need printed right on the oil cap. Just drop it in here. Make sure this is nice and clean. Like, it could be really bad if you had like a stone in here or something and it was able to go down into the oil. That would be really bad. So just make sure this is all nice and clean and sterilized. If you want to, it wouldn't hurt just to check at 5 quarts to check the oil. You don't want to overfill this. I'm not too concerned right now because I'm actually going to be dumping a little bit of oil at the end to show you guys how the Ronin works as far as bringing the oil out of that whole system. But it wouldn't hurt to check after 5 quarts. You don't want to overfill. All right, put your cap back on. All right, so typically you would start up the engine, let it run for 5 or 10 minutes, and then check the dipstick. But before we do that, I'm just gonna show you guys how this Ronin works real quick, and then we'll finish it off. Okay, so we're back under the car. I just wanna show you guys how this works, how cool this is. So, say we were starting over, we wanted to remove the oil from the vehicle. All you're gonna do is turn this copper piece right here. Remove the copper piece. No oil should be flowing out. And then you're gonna put in this little valve. This valve, like I showed before, opens up the back end of this whole system and allows oil to flow. I'm gonna go a step further and attach this little hose. I think this is 3/8 inch hose. You can find this anywhere. And that way I can control exactly where this oil goes without dropping a spill of oil. So I'll show you guys how this works. There we go. Beautiful. So now next time, this is nice clean oil. Next time, that's all I gotta do. Boom, I can do the whole oil change, super simple. I can control exactly where the oil goes, and next time I won't spill a drop. Hats off to Ronin, super, super cool idea. Then if I wanna stop the flow of oil, I just turn, counterclockwise, oil stops. Remove. I got a nice little plug here. I can put that aside. And we're good to go. All right, so now we can use our fancy little pan here, close everything up, and we can start cleaning up. We're gonna turn on the engine, check for leaks, and that's a wrap. Also, make sure you don't forget to put that plate back on with the 4 screws. All right, so we let the truck run for 5 to 10 minutes, let the oil heat up a little bit. Now we're gonna pull the dipstick, clean it off, and then check to make sure everything's where it needs to be. So I just clean it off real quick, drop it in again. And we're gonna look for these little hatch marks. You can see where the oil is heavy, 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 and then boom, right here, that's pretty much where we wanna be. You can see where the oil stops kind of showing up at the very end of the hatch marks. You want the oil level to be between these 2 dots right here. That's how you know you got the perfect amount of oil in your engine.
And don't forget to reset the oil life in your menu screen. Just scroll all the way down to vehicle maintenance, hit OK. Hit OK on oil life. Hit OK, press and hold the OK button, and you'll see the little menu, the little meter go all the way up, and that will reset your oil life to 100%.
Another thing to consider is once you're running that engine, take a look at your oil filter, take a look at your plug, make sure that there's nothing dripping where it shouldn't be. Go underneath the vehicle, take a look at everything. You should see no drips at all. Actually wouldn't hurt to maybe back up the vehicle too, so you're not confusing any drips with where we spilt the oil. That's just gonna ensure that you know everything's fastened down, everything's tightened. All right guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said before, Ronin for the win, American company, donates tons of money to veterans. Can't say enough about them. And it's an excellent product. Really solves that issue the factory oil plug has. It just makes things so much easier. I'm looking forward to the next oil change. Go check them out. I'll put a link in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Be sure to check out these awesome playlists I put together. I promise if you enjoyed this video, you'll love the other ones. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.